Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. We love to explore these little fascinating pieces of knowledge, and today we are going to be going on a journey into ancient Hindu philosophy.
I love it.
Yeah, so
Mm.
today we're going to be exploring a single verse.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah,
from the epic Mahābhārata.
okay.
And believe me, even one line of text can hold so many profound insights.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this.
Yeah, so first, can you set the scene a little bit for us? What exactly is the Mahābhārata?
Oh man, the Mahābhārata, it is incredible.
Okay,
It is an epic poem, and it's one of the cornerstones of Hindu philosophy and literature.
I see.
And
Yeah.
it's this huge, sprawling tale of war and duty and love betrayal, all woven into this really profound exploration of dharma or righteous living.
I see.
It's a text that really grapples with the big questions of life and death.
Okay,
And within it, we find this really powerful verse that we're going to be looking at today.
great.
And that translates to one crosses over death through ignorance, ritualistic action, and attains immortality through true knowledge.
Okay, wow. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Death and immortality right off the bat.
Right.
So it sounds pretty intense.
It is. It's meant to be. It throws down this challenge.
Okay.
It presents these two contrasting paths, you know? We can either be driven by ignorance, and in this case, it's specifically talking about actions performed without understanding,
Okay.
or we can strive for true knowledge, which leads to liberation.
Hmm. So you mentioned that ignorance is specifically linked to ritualistic action. Can you
Right.
expand on that a little? What kind of actions are we talking about here?
Yeah, well, think about it like this.
Right.
In a lot of spiritual traditions, including Hinduism, rituals play a very significant role.
No.
They're meant to help us, cultivate discipline, connect with the divine, and move towards a higher purpose.
Yeah.
But what this verse is saying is that if we perform these rituals without understanding their deeper meaning, without that inner connection, then they become empty actions.
I see.
We're just going through the motions.
Right. So it's not enough to just go through the motions, even if those actions themselves are considered good or holy.
Exactly.
Wow.
The verse is suggesting that true liberation, which is referred to as moksha in Hinduism, comes from knowledge.
Right.
Not just knowledge as in facts and information, but a deep understanding of our true nature and the nature of reality.
Okay.
And this is where this concept of samsara comes in.
Samsara, I've heard that before, but can you break that down for our listeners who might not be familiar with it?
Yeah, samsara refers to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth.
Okay.
It's the idea that we're caught in this continuous loop driven by our actions and the consequences of those actions, also known as karma.
Okay.
And the verse suggests that clinging to ignorance, clinging to those actions without understanding, keeps us trapped in this cycle. We're essentially crossing over death, only to be reborn into the same patterns of limitation and suffering.
Yeah, that's a pretty sobering thought.
It is.
But this is a verse that was written centuries ago.
Yeah.
What does it have to do with us today?
Well, that's the fascinating thing about these ancient texts is that their wisdom really transcends time. So think about our own lives, How often do we find ourselves stuck in routines, habits, patterns of behavior without truly understanding why we do the things we do?
Yeah.
We chase success, accumulate possessions, scroll endlessly through social media.
Yeah.
But are these actions driven by true understanding or just a kind of ingrained ignorance, this blind pursuit of things that we think will bring us happiness?
Yeah, that really hits home.
Right.
I think it's easy to sort of be on autopilot and just go through the motions.
Yeah.
And I know I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah.
But if simply performing rituals isn't the answer and blindly chasing external things isn't the answer, then how do we break free from the cycle? How do we attain this true knowledge that the verse talks about?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The verse doesn't give us a step-by-step guide,
Right.
but it points us in the right direction.
Okay.
It encourages us to cultivate self-awareness, to question our motivations, to look beyond the surface level of our actions, and really examine those underlying beliefs and desires that are driving us. It's about living with intention, with mindfulness, with a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things.
So it's about waking up,
Right.
becoming more conscious of our choices and our actions.
Exactly.
It's not about abandoning rituals or routines altogether,
No.
but rather imbuing them with a deeper meaning,
Yeah.
a greater understanding of why we do the things we do.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's a lifelong journey. It's not something we achieve overnight.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of self-discovery and growth.
That's an incredible takeaway from just one verse.
It is.
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
But before we go, I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Right.
What are some areas in your own life where you might be going through the motions?
Hmm.
What actions or routines could you imbue with more awareness, more intention, more understanding?
That's a powerful question to reflect on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep seeking in it, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
Absolutely.